PlayStation Plus might be a controversial topic to cover here over on a channel where we predominantly focus on collecting physical copies of games. But I am here to tell you, even as a physical collector, I do see the value in PlayStation Plus. Sometimes it's out of necessity and sometimes it's just out of the fact that there are some titles on there that are just available to play when you can't physically get them anywhere else. So let's talk about my 5 reasons why I think PlayStation Plus is worth it in 2025. Even for us physical game collectors and physical game lovers. First of all, the price. You can't go wrong with PlayStation Plus, even at its normal price. So in South Africa, our normal price is around 1,800 Rand, and that isn't even that bad considering how many titles you have access to. Now, yes, you don't have access to brand new games, but that is just a sacrifice you might have to make. It's not like Xbox Game Pass where you're giving you all these brand new titles as soon as they are launching. That's Xbox's plan of action. Unfortunately, Sony is not following that suit. However, I do think that this is fine because you still have access to hundreds of titles for a very reasonable price. So you don't have to get the premium or the deluxe edition here in South Africa. You can get PlayStation Plus Extra, which gives you access to a very large amount of more current gen games. If you want deluxe for those last gen or maybe even those PS1, PS2 and PSP titles, that is perfectly fine too, and I think you'll have a great time with those. Which leads me into my next topic, and that is sort of trying new type of games. So I get stuck in these ruts where I play the same type of title over and over again, and then I eventually burn out from gaming and I just don't actually want to game, which is kind of sad because gaming is my passion. I really enjoy playing games, but sometimes you just burn out because you're playing the same titles or playing the same genre of titles too often and too frequently. So for example, I've been playing a lot, and I mean a lot, of turn-based titles over the last few months, and I've kind of reached my limit, which means that I've kind of had to sacrifice Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't been able to finish Baldur's Gate 3 yet, even though I'm like nearly 70 hours in. I haven't been able to get back into it, and I needed something a little bit lighter, something that's not going to take as much energy to get into, and that's where Assassin's Creed Origins came in. Now, I'm not an Assassin's Creed aficionado, if you want to put it like that. I haven't played Assassin's Creed in a very long time, and I wanted to start where the new RPG series started because I'm not gonna lie, Assassin's Creed Shadows looks really fantastic and I'd love to test it out. But I feel like I need to first get that level of grounding so that I can see why people maybe aren't so fond of the series as they used to be. But I think I'm looking at these series as more just chill game vibes. I don't need some massive story. I just want to get into the game and play it for what it is. It is an open world Ubisoft title that I just want to play, and if it wasn't for PlayStation Plus, I wouldn't have had access to this game and I wouldn't be able to be doing this. So PlayStation Plus allows you to try new games or try games that maybe you haven't even considered trying. Now, in that line, we could also say that you could try older titles if you have premium or deluxe. You could try some of your PS1 titles that you've heard so many people raving about and never have had access to, because sometimes sourcing these physical copies are incredibly difficult. And then you would also have to get a PlayStation 1 or a system that can play them and then hook it up to modern TV. And it's a whole headache that I think most people would try to avoid. So when you have access to these types of titles on your PlayStation 5 and your PlayStation 5 is already set up to your modern system, why not play them and experience them like this? Because these experiences on PlayStation Plus even make it a little bit easier because you have access to those features that allow you to remap controls, rewind the game a couple seconds if you messed up. I've used this rewind feature in my recent Sly Cooper trophy, and it's really just making these modern experiences come to much older titles. So these older titles are difficult to play. Older games are just generally more difficult and less accessible, and having these features available, even though you can get these features if you don't have PlayStation Plus, so say you purchase one of these games off the PlayStation Store, you have access to these features. I'm the type of person that doesn't really like buying digital content, so PlayStation Plus just makes a little bit more sense in that regard because it's not a lifetime purchase. I just have access to these games for a limited amount of time, and if I do really enjoy them, I will then go out and purchase them physically. Which leads me to my next point, which is helping me decide which games I actually want to put in my collection. I have mentioned on the channel briefly that I have a very limited amount of space that I want to take up by games. I want 100 titles per system. So 100 PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, and then with the Vita and Switch, I haven't quite decided how I want to do those. Maybe 50 per piece on those. But because I have such a limited or such a very specific amount of games that I want to have in my collection, this is helping me decide which of those titles actually make it into that section of the collection. So for example, if there's a PS4 game, say Assassin's Creed Origins, and I really enjoy it and I want to put it into the collection, this is helping me decide whether or not it's going to be in there. And I'm still experiencing the game. So it really is a invaluable asset to someone like me that is trying to collect games at a very specific amount of titles. Then another thing, and I don't think this is exactly how do I put it? It's not a reason to have, well, it is a reason to have PlayStation Plus, but it's more of a necessity if you're an online gamer. So if you're an online multiplayer gamer, you have to have PlayStation Plus to play your paid titles. So for example, with Fortnite and Rocket League, you don't actually have to have PlayStation Plus to play online, which is fantastic. I think that's a great initiative because these are free to play games. However, with your Helldivers 2, your Call of Duties, maybe your Star Wars Battlefront 2s, if you're still like me and you play that every so often, you do need PlayStation Plus in order to play online. Now I know this sucks, however I kind of understand the necessity for this. You do need to maintain those servers, even though I do believe they could be maintained a little bit better, and maybe we could have some more here in South Africa just to have much better connections with each other, but that's a different reason. But if you are someone that plans on playing a lot of games online, unfortunately you are going to need PlayStation Plus. But don't let this be like a hindrance, because with this access you are getting 3 free games a month. And I mean, over the last 2 months we've had some fantastic titles. We've had High on Life and we've had Dragon Age the Veilguard. Now I know Dragon Age the Veilguard is on here probably because it didn't sell too well, but I mean still it's here, and you now can play this game if you maybe were interested, but the reviews kind of put you off a little. Now my last point, and the reason that I think you should get PlayStation Plus, is if you're a trophy hunter. So like me, I have become very obsessed with trophy hunters over recent years. When PlayStation Plus initially launched its remodeling, I played so many games and got so many trophies. It was not even funny. I think I did about 18 to 20 trophies in that year alone, and I really enjoyed my time with it. I love trophy hunting. And what's great about PlayStation Plus is you have access to your PS1 trophies, your PSP trophies, your PS2 trophies. Now bear in mind, not all of these classic titles have these trophies, but you are going to have a good number of them that do. Also, if you want to enjoy those shorter experiences that aren't shovelware, like we have all these trophy shovelware games on PlayStation Store, PlayStation Plus has quite a good collection of shorter titles that you can get trophies that you'll actually be proud of saying you own. So for example, you get games like Coffee Talk and Coffee Talk 2, maybe the Life of Strange games. They're not short, but they are easy and attainable trophies. So you don't have to just get these incredibly hard trophies. And I mean, if you do want to get those more difficult trophies, there are titles on PlayStation Plus that do have more challenging trophy lists, but you have access to so many games for trophy hunting that I don't think you would get through all of them in a very short amount of time. So if you are a trophy hunter and maybe you don't want to go out and buy all these different games, you have access to a very good library of titles here that you can then go and enjoy and be proud to have in your PlayStation trophy collection. Guys, if you have enjoyed the video, please make sure you like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more, and follow me on Instagram in the description below. I'm trying to get more followers over on Instagram, and if you want to see more of my collection, that is definitely the place to see it. I can't wait to see you guys on Friday, and maybe we will do a stream tomorrow. I haven't quite decided. I do want to start streaming more regularly on Wednesdays. I apologize. And maybe we can do that every so often, not every week, but every few weeks. So thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I hope you check out some of the other videos on the channel. Other than that, I will check you soon. Cheers.